Yu-Gi-Oh! Has currently 11,145 playable cards. Some are so strong that needed to be banned, and some are really weak. But what are the worst card ever printed in Yu-Gi-Oh? Let's find out. At number 10, we have an unfortunate report. This is a normal trap card that says, your opponent conducts their next battle phase twice. Now, at first glance, this seems like a terrible effect, and in fact it is. But it has some niche use, like using it in Yu-Gi-Oh! For forcing your opponent to attack your monster. But even if this card theoretically has a use, it doesn't save it for being one of the worst card ever printed. Moving at number 9, we have Localized Tornado. This is a normal trap card that says, shuffle all cards from your hand and graveyard into the deck. Like an unfortunate report, this is a terrible effect, but it can be used in some strange stall strategy, in which your goal is to deck out your opponent. And this card can assure that you have more cards in your deck than your opponent, which is a use for the card, but it doesn't save it for this list. At number 8, we have Magical Labyrinth. This is an equip spell card that can only equip to Labyrinth Wall, which is a level 5 vanilla monster with 0 attack and 3,000 defense. And once you equip it with this card, you can tribute that monster and special summon Wall Shadow, which is a level 7 monster with 1,600 attack and 3,000 defense. Now, I don't even have to explain why this card is terrible, right? You first have to bring out a vanilla level 5 monster, which is already hard enough, but then equip it with this card. And the payoff for this is a monster that don't even have an effect except for its summoning condition, and has only 1,600 attack, which is ridiculous compared to other monsters that are easier to bring out. And if you think,
well, I can just use it for a defensive strategy.
No, you can't, because then you would just have left on the field Labyrinth Wall and got the same result. But let's get straight to number 7. We have Zone Eater. This is a level 2 water, aqua, effect monster that when he attacks a monster, that monster will be destroyed during the end phase of the 5th turn after the attack. This effect doesn't make sense at all. I don't even know what they were thinking at Konami when printing this card. It's just so useless that I can't even figure out a way to use this effect. Anyway, bad things aside, did you know that Zone Eater is also an enemy from Final Fantasy VI? Like, look at this. They didn't want to modify its name or the artwork. Like, is this actually legal? Copyright infraction aside, here we are at number 6 with Pot of Generosity. This is a normal spell card that when activated, you shuffle 2 cards from your hand into the deck for no benefit whatsoever. Now, this is supposed to be the counterpart to Pot of Greed, which lets you draw 2 cards for free, and in fact, it centers the point of being the opposite of Pot of Greed, because one is so good that needed a ban, while the other never saw any competitive play whatsoever. Moving to number 5, we have Enervating Mist. This is a continuous trap card that makes your opponent limit hand size 5. Yes, you heard me? 5, not 7 anymore, but 5. 5, you heard me? The lack of those 2 cards will be absolute essential in the game for sure. That's the conversation held at Konami the day in which they designed this card. And on top of that, for some reason, they decided to give this card an ultimate rarity. Why would anyone in this world want to buy an ultimate Enervating Mist? I don't know. Garbage cards aside, here we are at number 4 with Cold Feet. This is a quick play spell that, when activated, doesn't let you activate spell and trap effect for the rest of the turn. This, like Pot of Generosity, is meant to be the opposite of a specific card. In this case, is Cold Wave Witch is a normal spell card that doesn't let you and your opponent play spell card. This card is probably meant to be played with Mystical Rough Handle, which is a continuous trap card that reflects every effect apply on a player to the other player instead. However, this is still a useless and pointless card, and not even worth considering. At number 3, we have the Humble Sentry, a normal spell card that lets you reveal your hand, select a card, and then shuffle it into the deck. This, in fact, is the opposite of Forceful Sentry, which lets you reveal your opponent's hand and select 1 card to shuffle into the deck. Now, the Humble Sentry is, of course, meant to be played with Mystical Rough Handle, but just like Cold Feet, it doesn't save this card. For number 3 on this list, moving to number 2, we have Dark Artist. This is a effect level 3 fiend, Dark Monster, which when attacked by a light monster, it lets you have the defense of the attacking monster, but only during damage calculation only, because they have already printed a really powerful effect and they are trying to nerf it. Of course, I'm joking. This is beyond garbage. This is the entire junkyard. I don't even have the words to explain my disgust for this card. But there's more. There is one more card that I want to talk about. A card so useless that doesn't even deserve the name card. In fact, it's probably some ink spread across one piece of cardboard. I'm talking about the number 1 on this list. I'm talking about Larvae Moth. Now just look at what you need to do for get this utter garbage on the field. First, you need to normal summon Petit Moth. Then, you need to have in the hand Cocoon of Evolution and activate its effect fan, equip it to Petit Moth. Then wait 2 whole turns in order to normal summon this fucking garbage, which has no effect except for its summoning condition and has a whopping 500 attack points. And that means that you waited 2 whole turns just for some card that has the same statistic of max CC. Now this isn't even beyond garbage. This is the concept of useless. This is the reason why we are failing as a human race. It's all your fault. Well, I hope you liked the video. If so, don't forget to like, subscribe, and write a comment below. We'll see you next time my creator decides to do something useful out of his free time. Bye.